one's just called Stonetoss pays Ben Shapiro to have unfulfilling missionary sex with him while wearing a dress. A classic tale. Not Stonetoss. Oh, sorry, I meant Hans Christian Graebener. Yes. Yes, the Stonetoss, the neo-Nazi cartoonist, also known as Hans Christian Graebener. Yes. Hans Christian Graebener stared at the yellow-tinted door in front of him, and it stared back. Was he really doing this? Was it worth chipping away at his self-righteousness just for some release? Surely there must be a better way than this. Perhaps shock therapy. Stonetoss shook his head. He needed to get this out of his system. But why with Ben again? Because he couldn't be sure the libtard and fucking weirdos who harass him in the replies of his tweets would agree to not spread rumors about him. Leftists disgusted him anyways, and he tried to block the voice in his head that was asking why it was because they're leftists and not men that he felt repulsed about having sex with them. His eyes were zooming in on different shades of yellow that the wood on the door produced as he went over his thoughts, eventually going over the lines he planned on saying again. He just needed a knock, and Ben Shapiro would answer the door. He'd present a reasonable argument, some money, and the bag. Speaking of the bag, the handles on the large brown paper shopping bag he was holding were beginning to dampen from how much his hands were sweating. God, why was he acting like such a soy boy? He just needs to fucking... Knock, knock, knock. Who is it? Came the snobby voice. Hans Christian Graebener. There was a silence on the other end for a second before the yellow door was replaced with an equally as yellow person. Ben Shapiro looked slightly disheveled as he looked into Stonetoss's face. No hello, just expectation of an explanation. May I come in? Stonetoss asked. What for? I'm here for business, he answered. What kind? Stonetoss was beginning to feel agitated. Why couldn't the other one just let him in to talk? I'm here to ask about your services, he began, and when Ben didn't reply, continued, I have money. Well, why didn't you just say so? Come in, Ben Shapiro said buoyantly, the mood becoming lighter as they stepped into the middle of his room, with Stonetoss closing the door behind them. Which of my services? Ben, Stonetoss cut him off. As you know, the goal in my intimate relationships is to find a wife and have children with her. But as of late, my duties have made it hard for me to settle down properly and find a wife to be intimate with. And, as a man, this is, As Stonetoss spoke, Ben Shapiro was becoming more and more discomfited, eyeing the bag and giving mm-hms to show he was listening. Dear God, had the comic boy finally snapped? Was he about to go on some incel rampage, and he'd be the first victim? What was in that bag?
Shooter's identity has been confirmed by the FBI.
I'll get to that after I finish reading this, because there's no way any of you can survive the tonal shift. Not a single solitary way you guys can make it through that type of tone shift. All right. It can lead to frustrations, sexual frustrations. I do not have the time to go looking for a spouse to relieve myself of my natural desires. Ben's frown crept into a grin as Stonetoss went on. So what it is I'm asking you is that you and me should have intercourse. I will pay you, of course, and this doesn't... Oh, Hans, I'm so glad that you've finally come to terms with your sexuality, said. It was Ben's turn to interrupt as he sat down on his desk with a piece of paper. Now, let's just talk about prices as I get this consent form ready. Are you a top or a bottom? No shame in being a bottom, Stony. Some of my most powerful clients are. If you have any fetishes, feel free to let me know so I can give you an accurate price estimate. Wait, do you know what fetishes are? Well, no. Yes, Ben. Oh, is that what's in the bag? I'll do just about anything. What toys did you bring? Toys? No, Ben, listen to me. Hans Christian Grabener's face had become significantly flushed. The notion of Ben not even asking questions about the fact that he wanted to have sex with him, or trying to poke holes through the explanation. And all this talk about fetishes and toys and positions, this was what he expected. He felt a twinge of disgust at just how eager Ben Shapiro seemed. Sure, it was clearly because he would be making bank off of Hans Christian Grabener, aka Stonetoss, but no man under any circumstances would be enthusiastic about having sex with another man. He tried to push down his excitement. Look, Ben, I just want this to be simple. I'll be in and out. Stonetoss tried to explain. Oh, so you'll be topping? Ben Shapiro said, smirking as he started to write down on a piece of paper. In and out of your bedroom! All you libertarians are the same perverted degenerate. Stonetoss felt his anger dissipate when he remembered the bag he was still holding. Here, he sighed. Ben Shapiro grabbed the bag and peeked into it. Under the sunglasses, Stonetoss couldn't judge his expression. Ben Shapiro's eyebrows barely twitched, but he remained silent. Usually Stonetoss hated the sunglasses he wore at all times. It felt like a disrespect to authority to not make eye contact. But this moment he was sort of glad he couldn't figure out what was on the other side, what the other was thinking as he started to stare at the contents of the bag. Finally, Ben put the bag down and reached into his suit. He pulled out a small plastic baggie, smaller than a small sandwich bag, and turned around. The Nazi furrowed his eyebrows and then heard what sounded like a deep inhale as Ben's head moved across the table. Did he just... Ben Shapiro threw his head up and wiped his nose as he inhaled what sounded like snot. Stonetoss crinkled his own nose in immediate disgust at the realization of what had just been done. That was degenerate, he exclaimed. Do you want me to do my job well or not? Ben asked snidely while wiping his nose again. Job, Stonetoss scoffed. This is going to cost you at least double, by the way. Oh boy, you guys are just in time for me to finish reading this Stonetoss Ben Shapiro fanfic because chat convinced me to do it for money. We're going to be doing this, and then we're going to be talking more about serious things, but we needed something to lighten the mood. Welcome, everybody. We're still going. Anyway, Stonetoss and Ben Shapiro are starting to get a little handsy. So, yes. Welcome, everybody. My name's Riverboat Jack. I'm a very serious person. I cover the news, and I'm a socialist, and a trans lady, and also I organize with Progressive Victory. So, hi, folks. You all joined at a weird time? Yeah, I really can't explain any of it. I'm sorry. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Do the things. Help the channel. I'm still tiny and growing. I would appreciate it. I'm a fanfic reading streamer. Don't let her fool you. Boo. All right. This is going to cost you at least double, by the way. He signed the finished consent form, and they bickered about what the price should be. And when Stonetoss, aka Hans Christian Grabener, presented the payment, Ben Shapiro began whining about state currency and central banking. It felt like his dick was retracting into itself as he resisted the urge to strangle the free marketeer. Fine, Ben Shapiro finally huffed, taking the money. I'll convert it later. Stonetoss rolled his eyes as Ben took the bag and went into his closet to change. You can keep your sunglasses on, Stonetoss called out to him. I was planning to. Where did you get this anyway? Left the stereotype from my comics number 4's room. It was just a second of rustling. Stealing violates the... I'm going to return it. He probably stole it before I did, before I borrowed it. You expect that degenerate to have paid for it? I suppose not. Ben didn't sound too sure. This is private business, right, Ben? Now, Stonetoss didn't sound too sure. This stays between us, right? Of course. I keep all my business with clients in the highest confidentiality. Ben Shapiro replied with a laugh. I mean, unless you'd like to recommend my services to any of your other repressed friends. Stonetoss scowled, and they remained in silence until Ben Shapiro finally stepped out. He could feel his face heat up at the sight of him in a green, frilly polka dot dress that stood boldly against his yellow aura. There'd been a corset to go with it, which ever so slightly gave Ben a more feminine figure. The knee-high lacy socks also helped to give his legs a feminine quality. There's definitely an erection forming in his pants because he was imagining this was a woman, and he was just really sex-deprived. Not because a man wearing a dress for him and this had unlocked some sort of same-sex humiliation kink that he just discovered he had. Ben smiled back at him and took sultry steps forward. He reached out to touch his chest, but Stonetoss batted his hand away. Don't touch me, F-slur, he hissed before scratching the back of his neck. Reflex. Look, just get on the bed. The things I do for the economy, Ben Shapiro said dramatically before crawling onto his bed and spreading his legs. I can't, dog. I can't. Oh, God. I can't do this, man. I can't go all the way on this one. Oh, God. Let's see. Oh, dear. Stonetoss unbuckled his belt and pulled his pants down before going over. Once he did, he was met with the sight of Ben Shapiro's dress pulled up, revealing his flaccid dick. Stonetoss looked like a deer caught in the headlights before ripping his eyes away and covering them like a kid when the unexpected sex scene comes on during a movie with his parents. He waved his hands violently at Ben. I don't want to see that, Ben, he shrieked, his face practically beet red under the blue aura. Ben shrugged and pulled the dress down so everything was covered. You'd think you'd never seen a dick before, he said with a slightly uncomfortable air to his voice. I get you're repressed and all that. I'm paying you to act like a woman, Ben. I want to have sex with a woman, not a man. What don't you get? Are the Vosh Raiders still here? Look, we lost like 700 of them, okay? And frankly, I understand. I understand right now. God. Stonetoss, if you want to fuck a woman so bad, you don't have to do this silly roleplay stuff. I can just hook you up with one of my associates. She's in the prostitute business, you know, a real professional. Not that I'm not. Stop talking, Stonetoss boomed. I can't finish this. I can't read out the rest of this. You guys know that, right? I'm just gonna read off a few choice quotes. I can't do it. I can't. Damn, thunderstorm outside. Let's see. See here. Nope, this is a lot of just like straight up ass fucking. Nope, just a lot of ass fucking. I'm judging the fuck out of you. Danny Boy DeGreat, this is your rock bottom. All right. You know what? I just want you all to know right now. I'm poisoning my brain, okay? I'm reading things right now that I can't unread. Okay? I'm I'm hurting myself for you guys. How about no triple X? I'm trying to find the non triple X part to read you guys. There's just a lot of very explicit gay sex happening right now. Um Ben focused on the dick inside him. It wasn't as big as some of the other guys' dicks he's had, but it was decent. Oh god. I don't understand why Ben Shapiro is wearing sunglasses throughout this entire thing. I don't get that. Don't give yourself nightmares. I'm trying to avoid it. There's a lot of gay sex happening. Okay, here's a good one. Ben Shapiro gritted his teeth, but placed his arms at his side. He gave the Gadsden flag on the wall behind Stonetoss a blank stare and tried to take his focus off the throbbing between his legs. He attempted to think of the cryptocurrency he'd have later, but it only made it worse. Oh, God. Anyway, at this point, Stonetoss slaps Ben Shapiro for moaning his name. And then this line happens. Ben Shapiro's mouth opened and then closed as he looked to the side in shock. He felt his cheek felt hot from the slap, and he wanted to cry out about the non-aggression principle, but he kept his silence. Some of these lines are just absolute gold, man. Oh god. Ben Shapiro settled into his afterglow as he pushed Stonetoss off of him so he could peel himself out of the cum-stained dress. Stonetoss himself was settling into a state of post-nut clarity. Had he really just... He tried to remember what he was thinking of specifically when he came. Was he thinking of a girl? Or Ben Shapiro? All of that was so fucking degenerate. His regretful brooding came to a pause when Ben Shapiro tossed the dress at him. "You're paying for dry cleaning," Ben hummed. Stonetoss stared blankly at the dress in his lap. "What?" "The dry cleaning. This was your idea, and I can't imagine stereotypical leftist would want to find dried cum all over his dress." Stonetoss thought that there had probably already been dried cum before Ben put the dress on. He may have just spent money to have sex with another man, but he wasn't about to spend money on an SJW's dress. But he kept the thoughts to himself and simply said, "Okay." Ben Shapiro nodded and dusted off the suit he had put back on. He gave Stonetoss back the paper bag so he could put the dirty dress in it. With a smile, he held out his hand and Stonetoss awkwardly took it for a handshake. "It was a pleasure doing business with you, Hans Christian Grabener. Now get out of my room." The end. There's a lot of gay sex in here, by the way. Jack's reaction makes it all worth it. Does it? I don't know. I don't know about that.